Welcome to the post Gameweek 11 video. So this week kicked off with Chelsea and Liverpool, and it's probably the start that Chelsea winning in the game, going 1-0 ahead. Great cross from Azpilicueta and a good header by Ramirez. But the game changed very quickly, in my opinion, just before half time when there's maybe an extra 30 seconds being added to the game, but these things can happen, especially if time has been wasted during injury time or prior to the game. And I actually think the referee shouldn't blow the whistle unless the attack has been finished. So Liverpool still had the ball and they were pressing. So until that chance has developed, and I don't think the referee really should blow the whistle. Um, but either way, a great finish by Coutinho to make it 1-1. And then after, really, Chelsea didn't look like the same team like last year. It doesn't matter if you're winning 1-0. Sometimes you can get paid back to 1-1. It's just a matter of having that quality, that experience. And Chelsea didn't seem to have none of those. And I think the blame has to go down to Mourinho because I think he's not training stuff. I think his philosophy and his tactics were really bad. I think, you know, going into halftime 1-1, he had seen enough for him to kind of, retaliate to Jurgen Klopp's tactics. And especially in the second half, Liverpool, played really well, but it changed the minute that Benteke came up and they had the opportunity of doing the long ball. And it's no surprise to see the next goal, Benteke was heavily involved, got a goal, got an assist, and deservedly got two bonus. Coutinho obviously had a great game. End of the day, the second goal was a bit fortunate. It took a big deflection. I think it was off Terry. But either way, great positioning to, get the goals. And a big win for Liverpool because, Jurgen Klopp obviously hasn't got a win in the Premier League. For his first win to come at Stamford Bridge is pretty big. And it pretty much amounts more misery for Mourinho. As I understand, he'll still be Chelsea manager for now. But I think if this continues, I don't expect him to be at the club unless Chelsea want to get relegated this year. But either way, great performance for Liverpool. For the Crystal Palace and Man United game, there's not really much to say. Most of the best chances, in my opinion, went to Palace in this game, and deservedly, I think the gear got some bonuses here. He made five saves total. Hennessy only made one save, although Man United had a few chances here and there, but they were very lackluster. And that's all there is to say. I think Man United have kept a good consecutive number of clean sheets, so it's something to look at potentially. But obviously, we've seen the defense crumble against Arsenal. So against, I would say, better quality opposition, Man United are very prone, in my opinion. But obviously, the defenders with, a few injuries with Darmian obviously has got injured now. So there is potential of maybe looking at a Man United defender for the upcoming weeks for sure. Man City and Norwich, well, look, if you're going to be champions, these are the type of games you have to win. And especially in the circumstances that Man City won, it shows that they're top contenders because I don't think it was really their day. At the end when Colin missed the penalty, it kind of summarized the game for City's perspective. The goal, obviously, the first one, Otamendi, it's a great header, but Norwich come back, and it's fortunate because Joe Hart has done pretty well this season. Look at the Champions League games; he's kept Man City in a lot of games when they really should have been out of sight in terms of having no chance to win the game. But he makes a mistake, and Jerome is there, and he pounces. And you see, I think it's also a very bad mistake by Ruddy. He gives the ball pretty much to Fernandinho, and that could have been a penalty. But either way, Sterling and Martin getting sent off. And City really should have had the game over and done with at the end with the 3-1. And Norwich did have a little chance nearer to the end of making it 2-2. But on complexion, you would say City probably edged it, and it's a good result for them. But Norwich, most people would have said, having they've obviously shipped quite a few goals away, that this would have been a higher scoreline, more goals for City. But look, Norwich definitely did well in this game, you would say. And if they perform like this defensively and show the kind of, they need to be a bit more offensive. But then again, at Etihad it's not so easy. But against other, I would say, less quality opposition, then they have a chance of staying in this league, in my opinion. Newcastle, Stoke, all the chances pretty much went to Newcastle. I think Walters had one decent chance for Stoke, and Butland deservedly got the free bonus. probably one of the best performances from a goalkeeper this year. I mean, last season we were raving about De Gea. This season, definitely Butland stands out with this performance. And there's not much to say. Obviously, Newcastle, look, they have to really kind of convert these kind of performances into wins. But how detrimental this will be, we'll find out later on in the season. And the Arsenal Swansea game now, I mentioned before that last season Swansea were the only team to take 6 points from Arsenal, and Arsenal, this is a big statement. Going away to Swansea and winning, it's not been a fortress for them by any means. For Arsenal, from what I recollect, going to Swansea with hardly one day. I think it was Monreal and Jovino, and we won 2-0, and that was a good couple of years ago. So, big win for Arsenal. Great debut for Joe Campbell. Um, was very lively, willing to take. I think the problem with Arsenal is sometimes they pass it too much and there's no end product. Whereas with Campbell, there seems to be this kind of, you can depend on him on taking a shot, and I think sometimes that's needed. So that balance which Joe Campbell provides to the team is really good. And obviously another goal for Koscielny, and with Walker injured, obviously Giroud, taking his chance and valued at 8.7, definitely worth a shout. But he's he is at the moment on form. And if you look at statistics, he's probably the best performing striker in the Premier League. But having said that, you need to think very carefully about getting him into your fantasy team, whether that's long term or short term. And also the Watford West Ham game. Look, there's not much to say. I think Watford keeping a clean sheet, that ticks the box in terms of what we expect from Watford. But for them to score 2 goals, and to be honest, it was a shambles of a performance defensively for West Ham. They got caught out. Collins getting red carded. Just a really bad tackle on Nagalo. And West Ham had chances here and there. But I mean, it's just summarised by the first goal of Igalo when, Aki takes the ball off Carroll. And I don't know what exactly he's trying to do in his own box. I think West Ham need to, maybe there is a sense of overconfidence maybe that's slowly crept in. But I mean, for them to be performing really great against the big teams and not so well against the so-called lower oppositions, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's the mindset. So I think something needs to be changed there, and that could really help West Ham in the league, really like springboard high up at the table and keep it consistent. And the last 3 o'clock game, probably the best 3 o'clock game in terms of a match. West Brom taking the lead with Rondon, but Leicester. I think the second Morris goal was offside because the deflection wasn't deliberate. So obviously West Brom tried coming back with the Lambert penalty, but overall another great win for Leicester, and they just seem to be outscoring oppositions. And sometimes it won't work like against Arsenal, but sometimes it will work, and it did work here. So Vardy obviously is doing great. O'Brighton 2 assists. He's back into the first team now. Obviously at the start he was playing and getting quite a few assists as well. So we know which players are there to look at, and from Leicester, and we've similarly discussed players from West Brom. Obviously, Sessegnon is back now. He's someone worth looking at, but I'm not quite convinced about how regularly he'll be playing. But he's definitely involved defensively when it comes to West Brom attacks. In terms of the Sunday game, this was a massive win for Everton, and Sunderland were in this game when it was 2-2. They really should have, there should have been a bit more resiliency, but Everton totally blew them away. And Lukaku great points, Kone great points, Deulofeu great points. Barclays surprisingly didn't get any, and I was looking at Deulofeu this week, but I mean, obviously didn't get him in. But Lukaku obviously is one to look at, and Kone is one of those things that he does well, and then people get him in, and then what happened? A lot of people got him out. So whoever's kept him in their team, and they obviously deserve credit for perseverance. But you need to be careful. I think Kone will be involved in the first team now, having seen that kind of performance. But it wouldn't surprise me if 2-3 games he didn't do much, and Martinez dropped him. So you need to be careful about that. But Kone, for the prices he's at in the game, definitely worth a shout. And looking at Everton fixtures as well, that further gives a stronger case to maybe look at an Everton player. And the last Sunday game, 2-0 Southampton. Bournemouth had chances here and there. Gosling, header, there was a few chances, and I just think they needed the first goal. If they didn't get a goal, I think Bournemouth were never really going to challenge Southampton, because I think everyone was really confident Southampton would score, and it scored 2 pretty good goals. Davies, great ball from Bertrand, and Pella, good cross from Tadic, and a good header as well. So, end of the day, there's not much to comment on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And the last game, which was the Monday night game, and I mean Villa came into life in the second half, and they were kind of fortunate to get the goal in a way, the 2-1 away deflection strike, but Southampton obviously killed the game off at the end with Kane. And look, one of the assists has been given to Lamela before it was actually given to Rose. And look, the players that have been involved in the goals for Tottenham, these are all players you should be looking at. Dembele's recently come in. I think he was mentioned in the scout on the website, but he's involved, so he's someone to look at. Rose, I'm not sure if he's going to be back. Don't know quite his situation with injuries, so that's something I can update accurately on Friday. But he's definitely involved in a lot of the attacks. So yeah, in terms of my team, um, having done an extra transfer because I didn't do so well last week, I tend to my kind of philosophy is if you haven't done so well the previous week, I like to change things around, and so I did an additional transfer. And to be honest, if you look at my team, Elliot goes with points. Yanma, don't know what the situation is with both my Newcastle players, but I could have potentially got looking at maybe 10 plus points easily had Kolarov converted this penalty. So, it was kind of a bit unlucky this week, although my captain selection was surprisingly good this week with Kane. And yeah, I mean, all my three strikers scored, which is a good thing. And my midfielder, it was three or more. I was considering Ozzo or Cazzola, but I've gone for Cazzola. So let's see how that pans out. And have got a few issues actually with my bench players because Gabriel obviously is not consistent in terms of being on the first team. Hangeland looks like he's been dropped deservedly, so I think so. I think with the mistake at Leicester, that can happen, and obviously Leicester and Crystal Palace have got the clean sheet. And Houlihan, he seems to be more involved in the home games than away games, and that's a bit of a worry as well because there's some weeks where players can unexpectedly not play. So there's a few little issues here and there with my team, but yeah, that's how my team performed. So thanks for watching my video, guys. The next video will be on Friday.